To order. I want to welcome you to the February 27th meeting of the Village of Pinehurst Historic Preservation Commission. Just to remind you, the purpose of the commission is to approve certificates of appropriateness for new construction or major work, and to do so by conducting hearings and findings of fact when applications come before us. Our mission is to take no action except to preserve and approve that which is congruous with the special character of the Village of Pinehurst Historic District. I am Molly Gwen, the chairman of the commission. On my right is Eric Von Saltzen, Terry Lertz, Richard Vincent. On my left, Jim McChesney, Tom Schroeder, John Taylor, Peter Hughes, the village planner, Kelly Brown, the administrative assistant, and Darren Burish, the director of planning. Welcome, everyone. We have no one absent, but we do have a quorum, so we can proceed. Remember that this is a quasi-judicial hearing, so anyone desiring to testify must be sworn in, and we are required to consider only facts presented in this hearing. The proceedings are video recorded. The first order of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Do I have any, last three meetings actually, do I hear any discussion on the minutes? Let's start with December 19th.
Move that they be approved.
Thank you. Eric Von Saltzen moved that we approve the minutes for December 19th. Jim McChesney seconded the motion. Moving forward, the January 23rd minutes. Any discussion on those? Do I hear a motion to approve?
Move to adopt.
John Taylor made the motion to adopt the minutes. Any second?
Second.
Eric Von Saltzen seconded the motion. And then the February 13th special meeting minutes. Any discussion on them?
I move that we adopt the minutes.
Schroeder
Second.
moved to adopt the minutes, and John and Jim McChesney seconded the motion. I would like a motion now to open the public hearing. Oh, that's,
On them as a group, I don't.
let's vote on them as a group. All in favor of adopting the the minutes for the three meetings. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So now I would like a motion to open the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Terry moved that we open the public hearing. A second from Tom Schroeder. Thank you. And now I'm going to ask commissioners if anyone made a site visit. This is the opportunity to make any disclosures about site visit or ex parte communication.
I made site visits to both.
I made site visits to both.
I have also.
I have
And I have as well.
site visits. Did you make a site visit? Okay.
Site visits to both.
All right, moving on. I'm going to swear in our village planner, Peter
Can you
Hughes.
invite Mr. Wiltshire up to be sworn at the same time?
We can do that. All right, do you affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. So we're a little out of order here. We're doing the second case first because of time constraints for you.
This public hearing is to consider a request within the Pinehurst Historic District for exterior modifications to include additions to the rear and front of the structure, the removal of a front porch, and the resurfacing of the stucco siding. The property owner is Robert Wilshire, and the property can be further identified by Moore County Tax Registry PIN number 8562050895506. There are no previous COAs issued for this property. According to the National Historic Landmark, this is not a contributing structure. In fact, there are no addresses on Kelly or Medlin Road. All the adjacent properties are listed as non-contributing. According to Moore County Text Register, the structure at 125 Kelly was originally constructed in 1950. This slide is a brief overview of the adjacent properties. These properties would have been notified. As you can see, there are some that were built earlier, but most of them were built later, and they all are listed as non-contributing according to our National Historic Landmark Survey, which was part of our 1996 National Historic Landmark nomination. The request is for a front addition. Front additions are not permitted according to the Historic District guidelines. However, the Commission has the ability to approve requests that do not meet the standards. The applicant is requesting to refinish the existing stucco siding, so this would typically be handled at a minor COA, but we brought it forth as a full package. Stucco is an approved material within the district. The applicant is requesting the removal of front porch. This has been an interesting case. The front porch was always going to be removed. Initially, the applicant came forth with a proposition where they were going to do a rear addition, but there came some issues with that where he could no longer do that, but the front porch was always part of that conversation. The property is located on Kelly Road. It's located kind of closer to the boundary of our historic district, not the interior, just one of those outlying properties. This is the current site plan of what the building looks like, and as you can see on the next slide, we have that front addition here, and we have the rear addition here. That rear addition is compliant with zoning, and so is the front addition. The side setback at 4.1 feet is an existing nonconformity, so there is no issue with zoning. And that front addition will be over 70 feet away from the front of the road. This is the existing elevations for the structure. And this is the modified, and there is an issue with the modified elevations. There are two left elevations, which we'll ask the applicant during his testimony to rectify which one on the record so we can get accurate elevations. So this is a picture that staff took from the street view. As you can see, it's rather covered by trees, and it's set back far in the lot. This is the front elevation view from up closer, and here we get a real good look at that porch. That will be removed later. This is also showing that the structure already comes out in the front, so the addition to the front would kind of keep in line with that, if you would say. And then this is where the rear addition is going, which has some much love to be had there with the resurfacing and addition. The addition would be for a laundry and mudroom. And then this goes back to the unique nature of this case. This was the rear unpermitted addition where the applicant had originally planned for a rear addition here, but the permitted or unpermitted structure there did not permit him to encroach on that rear setback. This is the list of building materials. As you can see, he's maintaining or matching existing materials or improving them. He has a lot of vinyl going to wood. In one case, he does have vinyl remaining, which is permitted because it matches existing. Most of the material is all improvements. At this point, staff would like to enter the staff report into the record, presentation, application, applicant's material, photo and site plans, and the findings of fact.
Have anything to add to the staff report?
No, ma'am. Mr. Hughes has covered just about everything.
Commissioners have any questions of the applicant? Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Curious about that addition that's on the rear, called a shelter on the floor, on the site plan. Is that going to go away?
Absolutely, sir.
There was one clarification we needed on the plans, too. There were two left, is that correct?
I believe the correct one,
Excuse me, can you move the mic closer? We're having a hard time picking it up. Thank you.
if I remember the slide you had up correctly, the correct left elevation is on the right side of the slide.
This is the one that says two lefts on the bottom of the page, right?
Correct.
As I'm looking at that, which one should be changed?
The one on the left should say right.
Okay, so it should be reading left to right, it should be right and then left.
Correct.
So the one on the right wouldn't change. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood.
So, but as I'm looking at the structure, I'm looking at that's the right side. Right side is the tall gable side, as you're looking at the
Yes, ma'am.
structure.
I'm picturing it from above.
You're standing inside the structure and thinking about it.
Yeah, that side will be the side that is the correct, so that would be right.
So it's the lower right elevation, the right side, the side with the gable, the tall gable, where the porch
So
is coming off.
He needs to reverse it, is what Molly's saying, what he early,
Say, then that doesn't match what's on, what you explained. So it should read, starting left to right on the bottom of that drawing, the first one that comes up from the left side is going to be the left side, and the second one is going to be right side. Is that
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Make sure we have it clear on the record.
Depends on where you're standing. Well, what I noticed is when you take off the porch, you're also going to be changing the siding on the gable. You're changing to a board and batten, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what was the thinking behind that?
I'm not a big fan of vinyl siding, and there was
Okay.
a lot of board and batten already in the neighborhood. I figured it fit a lot better. And
Okay.
so, talking to Mr. Hughes, he suggested that would probably be a congruous look.
So it's a wood. Is
Yes.
it a hardy or
Yes, ma'am.
hardy? Okay. Now, it looks to me like you're changing the windows, of course, and the door.
Ma'am.
But you're also changing the placement.
Yes, ma'am. We're removing the front door from the porch. That will now be the addition that comes out. You can't really see it, the kind of tucked-in door in the center of the house is going to be the new front door. We'll have a covered porch, making that more visible as the entryway.
And are you reusing your existing door?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I don't think it meets current codes. It's an old
Okay.
wood door, energy efficiency and wood.
Well, I was kind of wanting to see more about your windows and the door in terms of manufacture, in terms of the windows, whether they're divided lights, simulated divided lights. Can you tell me anything, give me some details, because it's just the basics here on the materials list.
Yes, ma'am. I think we're going to go with the divided. There should be black vinyl. Not really sure about manufacturer at this time. We've talked to Anderson, we've talked to Pella, several other manufacturers. I'll leave the final look to the missus, but right now she wants to see a black vinyl window with the same as the other houses in the neighborhood with the inserts.
the buttons.
The buttons, yeah, that look like the classical cottage look that would look like the other houses over there.
So if you're talking about Pella or Anderson, then that would be, I'm sure, a simulated divided light, and there would be some profile to those buttons, which
Yes, ma'am.
which we would recommend on front, particularly on the front facade.
Only a question that says match existing windows, but in the elevation, you've got a 2/1, and the existing, you've got 1/1. So is there going to be, are all the windows replaced, or on the front, there's just going to be sort of a combination of those two styles, the old and the new?
All of the windows on the front will now be replaced.
Here you got 2/1, which is different to what's existing.
Well, it
So-
looks like you're keeping the one on the single, on the left side, the left elevation, where the fireplace is, that plain window.
Yes, ma'am, there will be shrubbery around that as well, so that one probably won't be replaced. The four that are on the right side of the property, they will all be new.
And the buttons are the snap-in kind or the real divided pane?
Should be divided pane.
Well, we do not allow snap-in buttons.
That's my question.
And hence his answer was they were not going to be snap-in, is that correct?
That's right.
Any more questions about the,
So I want to go to page 2 of 3, which is the elevations. and it shows windows in there, some of them 2/1, some of them 1 whatever. And that, I believe now, is what's up on the screen right in front of us. So those are the divides that's actually going to end up there, is what we see on that drawing.
Yes, sir. I think,
It'll be 2/1s for the vast majority and some single panes.
yes, sir.
And then the door, the double door there is also going to be 2/1
On the rear.
on the rear. I assume that's a door,
Yes,
right over the R in rear.
correct.
And the middle one.
Yep, yes, sir.
So it's going to look like that when they're done, including the one up in the peak on the rear too.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood.
Well, just as a point of information, it's kind of interesting because your neighbor, Mr. Mead, was in to see us maybe a year and a half ago to do his improvements.
Okay, yeah. We've liked the way the neighborhood looks. Everything turned out well. The house behind us is interesting. I talked to Mr. Hughes about that, is that going to make my stuff more difficult? And we kind of walked through it of how to keep that aesthetic in the neighborhood, improved level.
There's reference to stucco.
Yes, sir.
It'd be a so-called standard cement-based stucco on a wire mesh.
Yes, sir.
Any comments from attendees? Any neighbors in attendance today? No. Well, in that case, I think we can, I think I'm ready for a motion
I will
on the application.
attempt a motion here. Upon due consideration of the application package submitted and the testimony given, the Historic Preservation Commission concludes the following: that the applicant has satisfied the burden of persuasion and the project.
John, you need the
I'm-
next one down.
I'm going to just stop you right there.
And
He-
why is it not in conformity?
Yes, it's not in conformity with the guidelines.
Can't have a front addition.
Oh,
The front.
even though the addition is essentially replacing something that's already there,
So-
but is not in,
Yeah, but you guys have the ability, if you find it congruous and compatible, to approve it.
I will amend my own motion if I may.
Why don't you just start over
That's,
from the
we
beginning?
are going to start over on this
Upon due
motion.
consideration of the application package submitted and the testimony given, the Historic Preservation Commission concludes the following: that the project as proposed is not in conformity with the guidelines. Nevertheless, the applicant has satisfied the burden of persuasion, and the project, subject to any conditions imposed by the commission, is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District.
May I make a suggestion? This would be a suggestion to amend the motion. I think that we need to state why it is not in conformity. And it is not in conformity because the addition extends into the front yard. Otherwise we will just stay with the template.
Yeah, and that can be stated in the findings of fact as well, on the backside of the findings of fact there. So when we say why we approved it, and all that kind of stuff.
So
I
that-
think it may be easier to amend, to take the friendly amendment to the motion. Give me the amendment again. I got half of it written
Okay,
down.
because the addition extends
Extends was the word.
into the front yard.
Reference item 2, page 6 with that, if you wish. Front yard addition, not allowed.
Back here. Two. Okay. Upon due consideration of the application package submitted and the testimony given, the Historic Preservation Commission concludes the following: that the project as proposed is not in conformity with the guidelines because the addition extends into the front yard. Front yard additions are not allowed. Nevertheless, in this case, the applicant has satisfied the burden of persuasion, and the project, subject to any conditions imposed by the commission, is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District.
Second.
Terry Lurt seconds the motion. John Taylor made the motion. All of those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? You have your COA. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your time.
And thank you for your good materials.
Mr. Dunnigan, if you'd like to come and be sworn in real quick.
Now, is Mr. O'Hara here, or you are? Well, let me swear you in. Do you affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. We'll have a seat, and please speak into the mic. Let's have the staff report.
Dunnigan Builders is requesting a certificate of appropriateness on behalf of Robert and Pamela O'Hara for multiple exterior modifications to the property located within the Historic District at 30 Orange Road. The proposed exterior modifications include the addition to the side of the home and a separate addition to the rear of the home with 900 square feet in additions and the resurfacing of the structure from fake stucco siding to hardy board lap siding. The property owners are Robert and Pamela O'Hara, and the property can be further identified in the Moore County Tax Registry by Moore County PIN number 856-2090-73072. So 30 Orange, like our last case, has no records of a COA. The Historic District's only been around for 2006, and that might explain why we don't have records for it. According to the National Historic Landmark Survey, the structure at 30 Orange was originally constructed in 1920 and is listed as a contributing building. 30 Orange is located in the historic core. It's within walkable distance of the downtown area and is surrounded by other contributing structures. Here is a portion of a chart of the adjacent properties with the descriptions and brief histories of how those structures were deemed contributing. As you can see, you have structures on this one that's dating back to 1897 at 15 Maple Road. This is the continuation of the same chart. It's just blown up for your visual abilities. And we have another structure here dating back to 1915 on Maple and 1920 on Orange as well. The request is for a side addition that encroaches into the front yard. Front yard additions according to the Historic District guidelines are not allowed. However, the Commission has the ability to approve requests that do not meet the standards. The applicant is requesting to resurface the structure with hardy board. Resurfacing a structure is considered a major work item, and hardy board lap siding is a material that the Commission has approved in the past. The applicant is requesting a rear addition. The rear additions are permitted if determined to be congruous and compatible with the structure. Here we can locate it along Orange Road, and it engages with Everett there, and on the corner we have the inn. This is the original site plan that was submitted, and when you guys received your material, it may have looked like they were encroaching to the side setback. Since the submittal of this material, we've gotten a revised one as of this morning that shows both that the impervious coverage is met and that the side setback is met, so he is zoning compliant. This is the front elevation of the home. On the left side, you can see the new addition. It's matching the peaked roof of the main addition already, matching the windows, and we're changing that siding from that stucco that's existing to the hardy board lap siding, as you can see. The rear addition, same thing. We're matching all the material. We're matching the windows, and the siding is changing from the stucco to the hardy board lap siding. And again, on the left addition, the same thing. The left addition is going to be showing that side addition for you on the front that's protruding to the front yard. This is a picture taken from the street to show you what it looks like today. And this is a picture of the area that would be modified with that side addition. This is the building material list. Much of it is improving or staying the same, so it should be very compliant. At this time, staff would like to submit the following into the record: the staff report, presentation, application, applicant's material, the photo and site plans, and the findings of fact. You're welcome.
And Peter, thank you for adding, in both cases, the properties around the building that we're looking at, because it gives you a sense of the context. And this is, as you say, core village property, and it has a lot of historic character, so I think it's, well, it's nice to know that. Do you have anything to add to the staff report?
Well, I don't think so. I think I got everything. Unless you want something else.
Are there any questions of the commissioners have any questions?
I don't know who this is the question to, maybe Peter. The staff report says the existing siding is fake stucco.
Yes, sir.
The landmark survey says it was stuccoed. What
I
is
think it
fake
says
stucco?
fake stucco. So it was, I just learned about this in my real estate class. It was a polyurethane combination that affects the integrity of the structure. So changing it from a fake stucco to a hardy board is an acceptable change.
Significant change in the appearance of the building from the public street.
It would. It is a change, though, that is from a like material that's accepted by our guidelines to another like material that's acceptable by our guidelines. It's for your determination whether or not that change is congruous or compatible.
I suppose one of the things I'd like to know is what was on this house originally, and original is a loaded term. We're never quite sure what was original.
Underneath the stucco,
Yeah, before the stucco.
I have no idea. I
You
mean,
know, I'm just wondering if anyone.
it's
did-
it's the synthetic stucco. It's not the real stucco. So, and we're taking with additions about 3/4 of the way around the house, 2/3 or 3/4 of the way around the house is being added on to. So there was very little left, and unless somebody made me, I wouldn't put stucco and that stuff on nothing. And
Well, I asked the question because we're always concerned about the historic character of the structure and
Right,
how it
right.
might have looked.
right.
Didn't know whether
Well,
the
that's
O'Hara, didn't know whether
that's
the
the reason we
O'Hara.
selected. We thought that to keep in character of downtown, the lap siding would look the best. There's several old stucco houses in town too, but most everything downtown lap siding or stucco.
So it would have been stuccoed before it became before the historic district was established?
Somebody's put that stucco on since the house was built originally because
Yeah.
it's synthetic. They didn't even have it. But that house is 1928, I think it was.
Right.
Have synthetic back then, I don't think.
Yeah. So somebody's put it on somewhere along the line.
And if I'm not wrong, I think synthetic stucco has been subject to any number of lawsuits because of problems with that material.
Well, they have improved it over the years, but yeah, mostly the people didn't know how to flash it.
That was part of it, yes.
But
Design is not really our consideration, but to the extent that the proposed addition does protrude not only into the front yard, but farther into the front yard than the other side of the house, was there consideration given to either matching that up or keeping it in the rear so that it would not? Was there
Well-
a reason you couldn't do that?
the whole concept of this is they got a little small kitchen in the house. The house is only 1,400 square feet, and one of them rooms go out to extend the kitchen, and then they wanted to put the living room on that side, and that's the only way you could do it. I mean, without getting on deeper into the house.
Well, my estimation is as you do this addition and add to the left side, you balance the property better than it already is.
Yeah, I think,
Because it's skewed to the right side right now,
yeah.
and this makes it more appealing to the front of the
Yeah,
property.
I think,
Terry, I agree with you. It's not what our guidelines are, but in this particular case, I think you're right.
That's why we have some leeway,
The-
just like in the first case.
The O'Hares spent a lot of time with the draftsman, you know, to get it to be appealing. And,
Would it be fair to say, in your professional opinion, that it would not be practical to accomplish the owner's objectives without building into the front yard?
it would be because of the two rooms inside, you know, they're extensions of what's already there. And, you know, it would change all the roof lines and all if we took that back. And it's got a nice roof line on it now.
And you kept that original line, just extended it on the addition, and that's nice. The ridge line just extends.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Dramatically affect the kitchen layout and/or location.
Now, you're trading out all the windows?
I think we probably will. I haven't talked to them about that. There's only going to be 2 or 3 of them left, but I believe them windows has already been upgraded, and it's been a while since I've been over there. But I'm going to match what's there as close as I possibly can. Everything I match. The front door's staying.
Good. And the side lights?
And right, exactly.
And on the screen right now is the front elevation, so that's the windows that are going in?
Yes.
All
yes.
going to be the same across the front, except for the door piece.
Right,
Is that correct?
right.
But I thought the windows that were on the house were 6/6. It's hard to tell. Seems like I have a photograph.
They are.
No, they're 8/8, I believe, 4/4.
4 over, it looks like the inside and outside don't match up, so you're seeing,
It's almost like a storm panel on there.
yeah.
It confuses the lines.
Well, I think there must be shutters on the inside or blinds or something.
Might be, yeah.
I thought, when I looked at it, I thought it was 4/4. Could be, and when I,
Yeah, the grids, I believe that's 4/4.
What it
Well-
looks like, yeah.
I guess the point is, you're changing them to match the windows in the addition.
Right,
And so they'll be the 2/2.
Consistent all the way across the front. Particularly the front's the one I'm questioning about. So those look like they're going to be 4/4 all the way across the front, with excluding the door pieces.
yes, that's right.
Any more questions?
Many different window styles in downtown that it's,
So, one more question. So just to be clear, the front color is the same color that's existing there on the lap siding. You're going to try and match that gray? Similar color?
I turned that color in. I don't remember what's
say, on the.
It says
report.
gray.
I don't remember whether they was going to, there you go. Can't read
Proposed to
my
be
writing.
It's proposed to be gray, according to that, if I understand it right. all the
Okay,
way
yeah, well,
around.
then it's going to match. I didn't remember whether they told me it wasn't a different color.
Okay, so that's a gray that's going to match the existing gray.
Right.
And then the shingles, you got weatherwood here.
Weatherwood is a grayish black.
Is that, so that's similar to, obviously the existing color looks really faded and older, but it's going to be of a similar
Right,
color
it's
to that?
Yeah, it's a weatherwood. That's 90% of the houses in Pinehurst is weatherwood. That's the most common color.
Any more discussion on the application? And I think we're ready to have a motion. Who would like to make a motion? Terry?
Upon due consideration of the application package submitted and the testimony given, the Historic Preservation Commission concludes the following: that the project as proposed is not in conformity with the guidelines due to the addition of on the left side of the property, which also affects the front face. Nevertheless, the applicant has satisfied the burden of persuasion, and the project submitted to any conditions imposed by the commission is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District.
Second.
Made by Terry Lurtz, the second by John Taylor. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by saying nay. We have the certificate of appropriateness. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
1 for 3 this week.
Our next item on tonight's agenda is the minor work items. Does anybody have any questions about work items approved by staff? We have an accessory structure, no dimension greater than 12, at 65 Magnolia, which would be the Magnolia Inn. We have a new wall going at 15 Beulah Hill. It's a wall that's screening some AC units. It's a brick material wall. We have a new sign for 5 Community, which got approved with a variance request at BOA, so it meets all the standards for the Manor Inn. It's a bronze Manor Inn channel letter style. And then we have a new path at 55 Laurel. Their bricks leading up to their house are decaying. They would like to put the same bricks down, just updated and reapplied.
I have no issue with the minor work.
No issues.
Next meeting is March 26th, and if somebody would make a motion to,
Did
Oh,
you
we
have
need
some
to-
changes in words on one of them?
yes, can we adopt my changes to the 30 Orange staff report?
Oh,
Apologies, thank you, Tom.
so we need a motion to adopt the changes in wording to the 30 Orange Road staff report.
So moved.
Second.
So John Taylor moved to adopt the changes in wording to the 30 Orange Street staff report, and Tom Schroeder seconded the motion. I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Got to vote on the
Got to
last
vote
one.
on that. Vote on the changes.
Oh, excuse me,
Got a
getting
motion
ahead of
on the table.
myself. All right, all in favor of that motion to put the changes in wording in the staff report? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Right. So now, a motion, please, to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Tom Schroeder made the motion to close the public hearing, and Terry Lurtz seconded the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And I think we are ready to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Done.
Unanimous.
It's kind of interesting.